really didn't want to make a video about this fucking thing because it doesn't help us at all to be arguing about the fucking No Kings protest, because at the end of the day, we're all supposed to be aware of how much of a problem the administration is and all this is and all this fucking shit, even if a lot of people are not deconstructed enough or adding to the problems and they think they're just they think they've done enough, but they really haven't. Arguing about that shit not mattering, though, isn't helpful, just like people that were still fighting about or blaming the people that didn't vote for Kamala wasn't helpful, because it didn't matter, because they've said multiple times that the election is controlled, bamboozled on top of that. So no one is dying at these protests or being arrested, and not only do they say that, but the news is openly saying that to let you know. People have died at lesser protests. People have been arrested at lesser protests. People have been shot by rubber bullets and shot. Dogs used to eat kids during these protests. That's why the protest doesn't matter, because they are not anti the protest. The administration is actively letting y'all do that protest because the protest clearly does not bother them and clearly is less of a threat to them than what could be a better organized protest that actually is like doing something. That's why people feel like they didn't go or that it doesn't do anything, because weirdly the administration seems to be okay with us doing that because they aren't doing enough to disrupt anything or actually change anything. It's just a bunch of people outside like, we don't like this, which is good, I guess. But is it actually good if we just yell into the air and nothing changes or happens and then we feel good about it? It's fueling people, liberals that are not deconstructed, that are still racist and still anti-LGBTQ and still misogynistic. It fuels all of them and makes them feel like they're doing something good, and since their lives are never really going to be overly affected by any of this and they're okay with fascism as long as they're okay, it doesn't really help anybody really but them to be performative, which is where their accusations are coming from, that the performative people are benefiting from it in multiple ways, which that's obviously also a problem, but the bigger problem is just the fact that the overall event just doesn't seem to bother the government or Trump or the fascists involved, because they wouldn't be letting it happening without any resistance if it wasn't. There's a reason Kat Al-Ghazali getting thrown on the ground and during the ICE stuff and Minnesota and all that stuff is also, not only is that being suppressed, but the people that are actively doing those things, there's always constant resistance because they don't want y'all to be out there against that. So they punish it accordingly. They punish the protesting it accordingly. Y'all just don't want to actually sacrifice yourselves or be hurt or lose things, which unfortunately, by the way, for any of this to move, has to happen. I'm willing to die. I've been willing to die since a very young age about this. I've been willing to die since a young age. And that's what we need the majority of the people to be able to do, who are willing to risk things, be hurt, possibly die, because if not, we're going to die anyway. You see what they're doing to children in ICE facilities. You see that literally we already know that everybody's openly every type of terrible thing on the planet in this administration and empowering it, and none of us think that's enough to do anything besides go outside and chant. They love that. Trump would love for you to go outside and chant and do nothing. You know who he's more mad at? Minnesota. He's mad at any of those ICE protests. He's mad at all of those people more because they're doing things that he doesn't want them to do that show resistance in a way that they need to stomp out, because if that grows, they lose. No Kings isn't doing that. Now, does it foster energy and sentiment and certain things, and is there good people attached? Of course. And I'm never going to demean it for that reason. But it's not doing what y'all think it's doing. And what y'all are arguing about is eclipsed by the bigger issue that I'm discussing right now. I just didn't even want to fucking talk about No Kings, but I think fucking Earth to Eve's song No Kings has done more than the actual protest days have.